Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We're so glad that you are here with us today. Just taking a couple minutes to get things rolling here, but so glad that you have joined us, that you're here. And if you can hear me okay, please let me know in the chat box over here on the right-hand side of the screen so I know that I'm being heard and we're not going anywhere. Thank you, Nancy. Loud and clear. I appreciate that. So glad that you've joined us today, and we've got a couple more people coming. I had internet out just a little bit ago, so I was hoping that we would be good to go. If all of a sudden everything disappears, sadly, that might be the reason why. I apologize for that right now. So thanks, glad that you guys can hear me. We'll move over to full screen mode here in just a second. But again, thanks for being with us today. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar presentation today, How to Save Time by Automating Your Social Media Marketing in Just 15 Minutes a Week. A lot of people always get shocked when I say that, and they're like, no way can I do it in 15 minutes. Well, I'll show you how you can do it, most definitely, and probably even less if you really took some of the tips and tricks that I put into place here. You'd be able to do it in even less than that. So you'd be cruising along here in maybe a half an hour a month. So anyway, let's launch in. I got a few things that I want to, housekeeping items I want to jump into firstly, and then we'll get into the actual presentation itself. So here's just something I always like to say at the beginning. If you've got some other stuff going on around you right now, then maybe just turn it off, put it aside. We'll probably be about 30 to 40 minutes on the presentation here today. Don't let my accent distract you if you're new to hearing me speak and that sort of thing. But really, I just want you to focus in on an opportunity to learn some new stuff and put it to work for you. And that's really the key. If you have a question as we go along, feel free to add them to the question box underneath. And here's a little picture. It's all very jumpy on me right here. Here's a little picture of the area right underneath the video there where you can add any questions that you have. And I'll try to get to them as we go along. But sometimes I can't. And I'll make sure we cover them though before we get done with the presentation today. All right. So here's the big thing I want you to think about for a moment. Do any of these sound like you? You wear all the hats in your business. You may be the marketer slash salesperson slash accountant slash, you know all the different hats. Or maybe you're responsible for the marketing for your business. That's just the only hat that you wear. Or you spend too much time on marketing and not enough on sales or customer service on that end of things. Or I even have people who tell me, I don't do any marketing because I just don't have enough time. Well, I got a feeling that probably covers quite a few of the scenarios that we face and that we're in on a regular basis. But why are you here? That's really the big question I want you to think about. What brought you here today? What was it? Was it something about the topic? What was it? Well, for coming today, I want to thank you so much for being a part of it. We've got some great stuff. Hopefully you got the worksheet already that came out earlier this afternoon. And you've got that. You can sort of put down a few notes. If not, jot down a few things and let me know, and I'll make sure I get you a copy of it afterwards. But I'm also going to send you this when we're all said and done. Hang out to the end here, the ultimate automation idea file. A whole bunch of ideas. I think there's 21 different ideas in there, things you could be doing in your business to automate some of the procedures and processes and marketing that you should be doing, and just sort of make it happen faster and easier. So we're going to give that to everybody here that stays with us throughout. But here's quickly recapping what I put out there in the first place. Here's some of the things that I'm hoping that you can learn out of what we do today. First thing is I want to share with you the exact software that I use to automate my social media scheduling. And it's such a help to have this tool. And when you see what it can do, I think you'll see how huge that is as well. I want to show you how to curate or basically share and add value to other people's great content to educate your audience. I want to show you how to determine the optimal times. Well, again, everything's really jumpy today. Comcast is making my life difficult, and so is my screen here, it looks like. How to determine the optimal times to post your social media messages to increase the engagement. It's no good putting stuff out there when nobody's looking, nobody's listening, especially when it comes to Twitter. And I want to show you how you can fix that problem. What the optimal number of messages to post daily on each social media platform should be. There is a correct sort of approach to take on this. And I want you to be thinking about that as you plan out how this is going to work. And once you get that in plan, you can stop worrying about, should I be posting to Facebook today? How many times? Just set it and forget it type mentality is what we want to come up with here. Then I want to show you how you can automate some of the initial engagement. This is especially great for Twitter. Things like following people back, somebody retweet something of yours, you can go like that, and so on. There's a lot of little strategies. Automate some of the process of sending stuff from Facebook to Twitter and things like that you can use. And the cool thing is this one's totally free. No cost at all to use this tool. A 3-minute strategy I want to show you to keep your blog posts ever present on social media. And then lastly, I want to cover the one task you should not be automating in your business. A lot of people try to do this one as well, and they shouldn't. But the rest, I think you can. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about when it hit me. I've been in business now for 10 years. I started with a publication and was totally offline. I mean, I knew how to do some stuff online, but I was not an online person. And of course, 10 years ago was a very different world. In fact, here's a picture of me back in the early days of my business at my old laptop there, scratching my head sometimes, going, "What good is this for me?" Because I was out selling, ads in a paper. So as time went on, I found that those people came back to me time and time again and wanted more, wanted to know more about online stuff, websites. Social media was beginning to grow and grow and grow. And then the other big topic was email marketing. And, here's a picture of me with my publication back probably about 8 years ago. But what I realized was I had the opportunity to help people because these were the big questions that they were asking. These were the things that they really wanted to know. And that's when I really started to dig in and work out about online marketing and dig in and try to understand completely what this was like, and not just how to do it, but how to shortcut some of the things that needed to be done, how to get more done in less time and leverage the technology that's out there. And ever since then, really for about the last 5 and 6 years here, I've been focused in my business on helping other people and business owners get this done in their worlds as well. So if you love what I'm sharing with you today, I want to let you know up front that I've got a special offer on an exclusive workshop that I'm doing right here in Indy, and I'm doing an online one as well. And I just want to let you know up front, I'm going to put that on the table for you. Some of this makes sense. It'll add even more to what we talk about today. But for now, let's just focus in and let's get ready to do some learning. How about that? All right. First one, big number one here. What tool do I use to automate my social media scheduling? Well, it's called Buffer. Here's a picture of their home screen and the URL, buffer.com. Absolutely love Buffer. Buffer is very reasonably priced at $10 a month. And it allows you to do, as it says right there, to schedule, publish, and analyze your social media posts all in one place. I don't know about you, but I used to run to Facebook to post something, and then I'd copy that, and I'd run to Twitter, and then I'd paste it in, and then it'd be too big, and then I'd have to shorten it back down again, and then I'd run over to LinkedIn and paste it, and then Google Plus, and it's crazy. And then really, you just want to stop doing it. Buffer solves that problem. Let me show you what's inside Buffer real quickly here. So one of the things you can do, and this is such a huge advantage, when I talk about curating other people's stuff, I mean, go out, and social media is totally all about this. Find the best stuff that others in your industry are doing and share it with your followers. You should be spending probably 60 to 70% of all of your content should be feeding other people's best stuff out to your audience. How do you do that easily? Well, first of all, you go out and you research what sites you want to grab the good stuff from. You come right here into Buffer, and in the feed section, you can start to add them. And what it will do is it'll basically every day it will drop new articles and posts that they put on their site right into your world. So you've got them right there, and you can make a decision whether or not you want to add that to posting or whether you want to dismiss it. Bing, done right there. I have hundreds of these things coming in, and I've got a ton of stuff that I can choose from now, and I'm able to set up all of my social media profiles over here so that now all I have to do is click that add button, and it will automatically add it to any one of these profiles or all of them, and I'm off and running to the races now to get things rolling. That's such a huge advantage. I got a question here on Hootsuite. I don't mind Hootsuite at all, but it doesn't have all the power that Buffer has. It doesn't have all these elements. And so that's why I absolutely love Buffer. And yes, you can definitely do scheduling on Buffer. And you're going to see even a little more high power than just basic scheduling. We've got a lot more that we can do as well. So thanks for those questions, and I appreciate that, and I'll definitely keep watching for those. Yes, so we've got the ability to pull stuff in. So what's next? Well, we do have the ability to schedule. Yes, absolutely we do. And you can preset times and create what's called a queue for your profiles. Here's my Twitter profile. I know I'm a little bit crazy here. I think I've got 8 or 10 different posting times throughout the day that I post on those particular platforms. But you know what? That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep it out there. I'm trying to keep things moving on that side of things. So definitely I can do that. Here's my LinkedIn. This is 3 times a day. I have it for all of my profiles where I have a schedule, and I'll show you a little shortcut on that too in a little bit here. So here's my content queue. So now after I say yes to all of these things, and I can come in and I can manually type something in, I can do any of these types of entries in here. Now I got the queue, and here it is. It shows I have 94 at this point. This one will go out at 4:24, this one at 5:27, this one at 7:40, and it's all set to go. And then once I add a new item to the queue, it'll add to the bottom of that queue. If that bumps into tomorrow, great. Goes over to tomorrow's queue. My goal, so the whole 15-minute a week concept is to sit down one time, fill my queue up, and let it happen for the week. For me, that's about 25, I think approximately right now, posts a day that I put across all social media, and I'll come back and answer some of the questions in regard to that here in a minute. The next thing I'm able to do is I'm able to review, and I really am hitting the wrong buttons here. I'm able to review what's going on with my social media as well. So that's really key in all of this. So I'm able to see, you know, on this post here, I got 1 like and I got 197 clicks on it. This one I got 1 like and 147 clicks. If I think this was worth sharing again, it's relevant, I can just hit rebuffer, boom, adds it right back to the bottom of my queue, and I can put it out there. This one is regarded the top tweet. Why? Because it was retweeted, 6 likes and 67 clicks, and so on. So I'm able to look at what's going on and see what's working and what's not, and adjust my content according to what is working, and that's a really key piece of this puzzle that comes in on all of that. Yeah, so I got a great question here about do I need to add a comment? You heard that Facebook, if you just share and I have a comment, it doesn't appear on everybody's pages. Yes, and there's a very simple place to be able to add that right in there, and it just flows along with that. So most definitely you can add a comment in there. That is important, but I've found that still a lot of my posts, I don't have an issue with that, but I try to make that a regular policy as well, to add my own comment to what the article brings in as well. Here's another great feature. It's one of those things that I shared up front that I wanted to show you about today. It's a feature in Buffer called optimal scheduling. And what that means is it goes through your profile. It looks at where the best engagement times are. And if you'll notice on this particular image right here, you'll see that they've really indicated here when your best times are and when your best engagement times are. And then what it does, it turns around and says, okay, based on what's happening on your social media platform right now, these are the best times we think you should be posting. And you can click one button and boom, your queue now changes to have those time frames on there. I go in and I check this every week or two and I adjust it because things change in that regard. That's a huge game changer in my book. If you can be where your audience is more of, more of them are there at that time, or the engagement is higher at that time, that will make a huge difference to driving new opportunities and new potential on that side of things. So that's Buffer. Pretty simple tool with a lot of powerful features at a really, really low cost, and does so much to add value to your marketing, and really enables you to get it done in just 15 minutes a week, depending on how much you're trying to accomplish in your marketing efforts. Okay, let's go on to question number 2 here. How much is too much or not enough? I have to say most people probably struggle with the not enough thing, not too much. How much is not enough is what the question should probably say. Well, let's go have a look at that. Studies have shown that Twitter probably necessitates at least 3 times a day. Otherwise, there certainly have shown there been some indications that engagement can decrease after the 3rd tweet, but let's face it, Twitter is like a fast stream going by you. And if you're not constantly putting stuff in, I know somebody, in fact, a huge international marketer, and he's realized that, first of all, his audience is 24 hours a day, not just 8 hours or 10 hours a day. And so he posts around the clock, but he posts every 15 minutes around the clock. It's huge. What he does is he has a lot of great content that he puts out, but he realizes that we'll see what's in front of us more than we'll go back and look. And so Twitter, you have to be frequent enough in order for there to be visibility out there, especially with an audience where the time frame varies. What about Facebook? I would say on Facebook, let's focus on 2 times a day at most. People have certainly indicated, we're talking here not about a personal profile, we're talking about a Facebook page, that engagement and comments can certainly drop off when the frequency gets higher. And so I would tend to recommend that you stick to a couple there. LinkedIn, recommendation there is 1 time a day. 20 posts a month, which is about 1 time a day per every weekday, allows you, based on the research, to reach about 60% of your audience, which would be pretty good, because oftentimes the social media doesn't reach anywhere near as much as we'd like it to on that side of things. Google Plus, we recommend at least 3 times a day, but here's the thing about Google Plus. 2 factors I always like to tell everybody. Number 1, it's a Google entity. And because Google owns it, the more you can tell Google that you're alive and you're kicking and that you've got things going and moving, the better it is for you and your business. And then secondly, you can really be very frequent with this. You can post, I'd say at least 3 times a day, but the more the merrier on that, because you will get more activity once you're more frequently posting. If you're on Pinterest or using Pinterest at all, the recommendation is 5 or more a day. the top brands have really experienced steady growth, and in some cases, crazy growth, by adopting a multiple time a day posting strategy on Pinterest. On Instagram, a couple times a day. Most brands are probably doing about 1.5 times a day on Instagram. There's no real drop off on engagement, but it's really a case of looking at some of your own stats to see whether or not that helps you to continue to go more. And that's the great thing. You can use Buffer to post to both Pinterest and Instagram now. Those are new features that really add great flexibility there. So what about a blog? I highly recommend that you post a couple times a week on your blog and then share those out. And I'll talk about a philosophy for that. But here's the thing. When you're in that 3 to 5 times a month, there's even better value that comes. 6 to 8. And I really try to help people focus and say, look, you should be posting at least twice a week, which would be about 8 times a month. Companies are really coming back and saying that they're doubling their leads when they're posting that frequently and they're pushing it out on social media. So that becomes a key piece of the thing. We're not talking about blogs so much today, but that's one of the things that I wanted to put out there. So the bottom line is this. We want to be seen often enough to be remembered. And the problem with social media all too often is we're not out there enough. And that's the biggest struggle. I would worry less about being too frequent, and I would worry more about doing it often enough. Another great questions come in here. How long does a blog have to be? You know, length is a tough one. I try to target about 400 to 500 words on average, but guess what? There are lots of blogs that are shorter, that are really successful. There are lots of blogs that are longer, that are really successful. And then there are blogs that are really like different types of, they could be a list, they could be a video, and a comment behind it could be a graphic and things like that. So you've got a lot of different ways that you could go with it. But if you're going with a straight written blog, I think a minimum is probably about 400 to 500 words in order to be effective, because you want that keyword, that key concept that you're running as your theme to constantly keep showing up. And that's what's important on that side of things. Appreciate the questions. Thanks so much for adding those into our mix here today. All right. Biggest reason that most businesses don't post that often is what? The work it takes to get the job done. That's really the, when I ask people, you know, I ask, why don't you? And the reason given more often than not is, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. Well, can you see how automating can help you on this? Can you see how using a tool like Buffer, knowing how many times you should be posting, setting up a queue and a schedule for that, and then finding great content and pushing it out there on a regular basis will help you? I hope you can. I hope you're starting to see a picture of what that looks like and what that can potentially be for you. Okay, question number 3. If you excuse me for a second, I got to take a drink of water. Sorry about that. I was getting really dry. Needed to jump in there and get some water. How do I automate the initial interactions? So those first connections with people, what do I do about those? How do I get them to work and to function and all that sort of thing automatically without me? Let's talk about that for a little bit. Here's a great solution. Have any of you seen that before? If you have, let me know in the chat box on the right there if you've heard of If This, Then That. Great tool, lots of great things in there. They call them recipes. And I've given you a link at the bottom direct to their social media recipes right there. Let me show you a few ways you could use this tool. I use it in a lot of ways, actually. I have it automatically send me a text every morning with a goal that I have currently. I have it send me a text with the weather, and if it's going to rain, it sends me a separate one if it's going to rain today or tomorrow. But here are some great examples of social media tasks that you you can take on using this tool. Here's one here where you can actually use this tool real quickly to even post a tweet. You can cross-post between Twitter and LinkedIn, or Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and that sort of thing. You can use it to do those sorts of things. You can automatically add users who mention you, or add them to a Twitter list or something like that. You can automatically do some retweeting. You can sync between your blog and Twitter, even though Buffer could accomplish some of that. This is a tool you could use to get that as well, where you could automatically, new post goes live, boom, get straight pushed out on Twitter. Or your Facebook, you have new status update on Facebook, boom, automatically goes out on Twitter. There are just a ton of different recipes in there that you can put to work for you very simply and easy. And this is totally free. There's no cost to this product whatsoever. At least I haven't found any yet. And you can totally use it as a great strategy to help you get some things in place. Another good question come in about blog posts and posting. Do posts have to all be different, or can you repeat posts? I'm not 100% sure there, Nancy, what you were asking, whether or not those posts, you're saying the exact same content, or the type of post can be different. But the reality is, on social media, if we're talking about social media right now, social media posts can definitely be the same content as long as it's still relevant and timely, and you can repeat that on a regular basis. I've done some tests and I've found out that Twitter typically will reject them if you do too quickly. But if you wait 3 or 4 days or a week and repost stuff, and even if you just slightly reword it and then put it back out again, it works just great. And sometimes it's that second version that somebody actually sees versus the first one. It's just funny how that works, but you can definitely do that on a regular basis. Okay, so this is how you can automate some of these initial interactions. And there are other great tools out there. I don't want to overwhelm you with a bunch of different things. I want to show you some of the things that I use today. But there are other ways of attacking this as well that work really well. Okay, number 4 point that I wanted to bring up for you today here. How do you keep your blogs in front of your prospects and your customers? How do you share that content so that it doesn't just get out there and be gone? Here's the tool I use for that. It's called CoSchedule. Yes, that's my Aussie way of saying it. CoSchedule. Anybody heard of this? Anybody use this here? If you've used it there, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if anybody's familiar with it. You can go to coschedule.com to see this one. What does it do? At the bottom of your blog post, it adds this element that you can feature. And you know, I use WordPress, so this is a plugin for WordPress. But if you don't use WordPress, you've got another whole platform that you can use this in, and it absolutely works on any type of blogging platform. But this one here, the top part tells me whether I've had any shares or any traction. So this is a post that went out here just recently, and I see that I've got a couple shares on LinkedIn for it. And it tells me then what other messages have gone out. And so the next screen here shows you how right at the bottom of the post here, you can quickly go in and you can add automatically your profiles are in there. It'll automatically pull the title. It'll put a short link to it, and it will get it all to go. And you can choose the time. Even in some versions of this, they even have it available to where they'll pick the best time, the optimal time to share this with your audience. And then you can set up all of your profiles and let go. And the cool thing is you can set it up to go live at the very moment that you've published it. You can set it up to put out tomorrow, next week, next month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and just continue to autopilot, share the great content you've got out there. I have literally seen my share numbers quadruple and more simply because I keep pushing it out. It makes sense, but for too long, all we were doing was pushing out one time, and then it was done, over. And this tool, CoSchedule, will definitely help you to make your content ever present with people. Yeah, this is not a free tool. I think you can do it for under $20 a month. as far as a subscription is concerned. In fact, I've got a whole little bonus that I'm going to give you guys that I didn't even mention, where I go through 5 tools that I absolutely love and use in my business every day. And the combined value of all those tools is under $50 a month. And I think they're essentials for me. And I'll give you that bonus after the webinar. I'll send it out for being here today, because I think you'll find that helpful as well. But there is a charge for it, and it all depends on the plan for these sorts of tools. But this one does come with a minimal charge, but it could be so worth it for you as far as automating in your business and getting things moving. Okay, the last big point that I wanted to hit with you today was this. Some things should not be automated. You know what it is? You shouldn't automate real life engagement. Yeah, the whole idea with this automation in my mind is to get the content out there, filter who's interested, who's not interested. And when the engagement comes in, that's when you plug in. When you get the notification from Facebook or from Twitter or from LinkedIn that somebody's made a comment or liked something or done something to your stuff, that's the time to plug in and respond to those comments, or leave a comment of your own, or share maybe a personal update, or even, you need to be the one that's going in and refreshing your profile and your content. But it really does need to be something that you do on a personal basis when it comes to that. But if you try to do that now and everything else manually, then you're spending way too much time with that. How quickly should you be responding to people? That's a good question. I try to do it the day of. I try to do it if I'm in a space where I can. I try to do it fairly quickly. But sometimes the time is all dependent upon how long, how soon you get it, and what is tying you up. Or if it's a direct question or just a comment. So I would say it depends, but I like to say that if you can do it within an hour or 2 hours, then I think you're certainly putting your best foot forward when it comes to that. Okay, so like I said, these solutions are not expensive. I'm going to send you this my one-page cheat sheet on this about the things that I do and use that are under $50 in total for getting this job done. So you'll be able to see that. So I want to come back around again here now and say, why did you show up again today? What is it? Something you're missing, something you're looking for? We did through some of these at the beginning. Do you spend too much time on marketing and not enough on your core business? Do you just not do any marketing at all because you don't have the time? Or maybe you don't do it because you just don't have the knowledge. You don't know what to do when it comes to all of that. And how do you make all this work quickly? Because there's always a learning curve to learning new stuff, isn't there? And that's the challenge that we have. You've got 2 options when it comes down to it. You can keep doing what you always have done, the way you're doing it now, or you can use a shortcut, a simple, straightforward, actionable, step-by-step process to get the job done. Well, I want to introduce to you something that I've been working on for a while here, and it's something I do a lot, but I've actually formalized it into a workshop now. It's called Automate, and it's the fastest way I think you can leverage technology and free up your time to grow your business faster, and that's realistically what it's all about. What is it? We don't just focus on social media, by the way. We focus on a lot of different online strategies that you could use. And the whole concept is that it's a workshop. It's a training. And here's what you get in this training. I have an online version that is 4 1-hour weekly workshops. And then I'm doing 2 live presentations here in Indianapolis coming up in November that you can join us as well. You'll get the recordings of these sessions. You'll get the workshop workbook, the graphics and tool guide, the summary cheat sheet, the slide handouts. You get access to our private online Automate community where you can come in and ask questions and get help. And you get a live Q&A session with me. So I can really help you work through some of these things. And then when you get to the end of this, this is what I really want you to have learned and have created through this. Identify your best automation strategies, your social media automation plan, your email marketing plan, your online content marketing strategy, your follow-up approaches. We can automate in all 4 of those areas and put that all into an integrated automation plan that you can take and put right to work in your business. So I know you're asking, what's the investment? What's it going to cost me, Neil? You want to know where we are on that? Well, I think something like this could easily be $199 for the training, probably even more. I know I charge more than that typically just to work with somebody to help them one-on-one to get that job done. But I'm not going to do that to you here today. I'm actually going to just put it available out there for the next few days for $99. For under $100, I'm going to give you the opportunity to jump on board with these workshops. And here's the link, and then also down below underneath there, you should see a button available to you that gives you the link direct to the page to where you can go and check that out. If you go to neilrichmond.com/automate-workshop, you'll get all the details about this workshop that we're putting on here real soon. There's a picture of the top of the page as you arrive. I've got a video that I'm working on. It's not there yet. So here is when it will happen. November 9, I'm doing it in Greenwood on the south side. On November 10, I'm doing it up on the north side at Michigan and 465 at Prometheus on November 10. And then the online one will be Tuesday afternoons starting November 8. And you can choose to be in any one of those if that makes sense to you and would be something that you would resonate with and totally would work for your schedule. Here's what happens in the live ones, the live workshops. We have some networking time and introductions. We'll have 4 different sessions that will walk through each of those components that I just talked to you about. The strategy, the social media, the content, the email, the customer follow-up, and then the automation plan are all the things that we will be building through that. I offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. It's simply this. If you jump in, you do the stuff, and you don't think it works, and you just hate what I've given you, I'll just give you your money back. No questions asked. Be happy to get that back for you on that particular scenario. The question I want to ask you is, how much would you save if you just automated one thing that takes an hour a week right now? If you're spending an hour a week on pushing out social media posts and some of your content and that sort of stuff, if we could shrink that down and you now made that be an hour a month, what difference would that make? And here's one of the cool things that I discovered was that the average social media manager makes $51 an hour. And if you think about that, if you're spending an hour a week on stuff that a social media manager would do, that's over $200 a month you're spending. The cost of this workshop would save you immediately as far as that's concerned, and you put that right into action. Again, the link, neilrichmond.com/automate-workshop, or you can hit the button at the bottom of the screen right there to go check that out. This is what the page will look like. When you hit the buy button in there, you'll have an option to choose any one of those. The price is even less than what I have on the screen there right now, as I'm giving you guys a special offer as we get going. There are limited seats, and you'll start to see that those numbers come down as they get bought up. So I want to thank you for being here. As I told you, I'm going to send out to you this special bonus for attending today, the Ultimate Automation Idea File. And it's just a bunch of great ideas that you can plug in. Just little things like editing. What could you do to automate some of your editing? What could you do to search for content in ways that helps you get further and get stuff better there? Oh, somebody asked about the button that's on the screen. If you look at the very bottom next to the questions there, it says offers. And then when you go to offers, you should see there that you have a button. Yep. There's a button there that says check it out. And that's the one that you click to link you right through to the sales page. There's other ones there too, but just ignore them. So I want to answer I want to ask if there's any other questions today. If you've got something else about Automate or about the stuff I talked about, I'd love for you to pop that in the question box at the bottom of the page. and love to help you out in some way or another there to actually get some of this stuff in place in your business that will actually help you to get the job done that you need to get done. So I know we've answered a bunch of questions throughout, but if you've got one, pop it in the question box. If not, you can also email me, and I'll be happy to answer you as a follow-up with things as well. Any last things that anybody would like to ask about the content today or about the automation workshop? Well, it looks like we've probably exhausted everything that everybody needs to know today. Hey, I want to thank you all for coming in today, joining us here for a little bit of your day. Hopefully it's been helpful. You know, let me know in the chat box over there on the right if there's, you know, what one thing have you taken out of the presentation today that you're going to use that could be helpful to you in your business? What's the one thing that jumped out that you didn't know before? Love to know what that is as well. But hey, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you taking the time. Please take a look at Automate. Again, I'll jump back here and show you the URL. That's it right there. Hopefully you get a chance to take advantage of that. And, you know, I appreciate you taking the time and wish you all the best when it comes to your social media marketing. Have a great rest of the day.